We are live. What's going on, party people? It's your boy C Tech coming to you with the Grinding Jiu Jitsu podcast and episode number 7. Let's go. Is going to be a good friend. We've touched base a few times around the country, believe it or not. We've never met. I've never gone to the West Coast, never seen him on the West Coast. He's always been on the East Coast. Ran into him a few times, saw him get a few dubs, especially in finishers. And it's so good to have Mr. Alan Te Mato Sanchez. What's going on?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on, dude.
No, dude, this is such a cool thing. Like, going through jujitsu and being in the game for such a long time, and you meet so many different people, and just to see like where I first met you in finishers, to see all the accomplishments that you've done is just absolutely amazing. Um, for those who don't know, please tell everybody, how did you come into jujitsu, Mr. Sanchez?
Like how I got started
How
with
you
it.
got started?
Yeah. So I was just like a UFC fan basically, and just like into watching MMA in high school, and then fresh out of high school is when I started training jujitsu. So I remember watching like funny. I like literally just rewatched this, but there's this video on YouTube called like the 20 like best submissions from the UFC, and and yeah, man, I just thought the like submission game in MMA was like super dope and cool, and I like looked up jujitsu, and I live in San Mateo, California, which is like near San Francisco. And when I was like looking up jujitsu schools, 10th Planet San Mateo, where I still train at, they had like literally just opened up when I was like googling them. So then I walked in first day, I was like immediately like this is the shit, and then just kept training since then.
It's a
Yeah.
superpower. It's the superpower of jujitsu, man. Just one, like they say that jujitsu's for everybody. Jujitsu is not for everybody. It should be for everybody, but not anybody can really be humble and take your ass whippings the way that you should. And basically just humble yourself and just know you're gonna get your ass whipped at the beginning, but it
Yeah.
gets better. you know?
Gets better. You'll still get your ass whooped whatever level you're at, but it does get better.
It does get better. Alan, so my podcast, I'm basing it on the eyes of a competitor, and you, sir, have over 100 matches. Listen, I can go on you could go on YouTube and see hundreds of Alan Sanchez matches. um and I'm kind of at a point in this whole podcast where I love the mind of a competitor because I don't have that on switch. How do you, and you look at yourself, glasses, you look so nice and humble, and yet you're able to turn on that switch and go into beast mode. How is that transition for you?
Well, it's nice because I feel like competing, it feels very like present. You feel very in the moment, and I think that's what really appeals to me a lot to it. Is like on that day when you're in that moment doing that thing, like literally nothing else matters. It's just like there's one guy who he will choke you out if he can, and it's like my job to not let him do that and do that to him. So it's just being present. It definitely like experience, like you said, like having over 100 matches. I've probably got like over a few hundred like at this point, but like
Yeah.
it's just putting like a bunch of time in where you feel those nerves, and I feel like you always feel nervous. You just feel better, or you just get better at like dealing with those nerves, and telling yourself the right things, and not letting the bad thoughts come in or whatever, and just yeah, just being present. And then obviously I think preparation is a big part of it too, like just making sure you're ready and prepared, and that plays a big part into feeling ready in that moment.
Man, like now we're having this conversation right now, and I just go right back to so I'm chilling with Coach Wes. So when I started jujitsu, I was I started jujitsu, then I quit for 4 years, and I went up to 300 and something pounds, right? So I walk into 10th Planet Orange. So I meet Coach Wes and Coach Art, and they were awesome dudes. They go, yo, C-Tech, we're coming to the East Coast. We're doing finishers. Are you gonna be there? I was like, you're there. I'm there. No, no, say no more. Because I'm a New Yorker. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody knows. I'm a New Yorker, now Floridian. So I go here and I'm watching Coach West, great match. Coach Art freaking triangles the dude. Super heavy or heavyweight division getting triangles. You don't really see it
Yeah.
often, and he pulls it off. And then I meet yourself, one of the main event. Going through a tournament, it was a tournament style for finishers,
Yeah.
and we meet maybe 2 rounds previous. We're vibing, and yo, you were so focused, but you were still chill. Like I was like, I can't believe he's actually having a conversation right now. He's, I would be shitting bricks in the side. And you actually come and you take that dub and you actually win finishers, get the bread. And I didn't coach you. Coach West was there. I think it was like Coach West or Coach Art was at your
Yep.
corner. I was behind them, so I got a little cameo in there. But I just to just to see how dedicated you were to get that dub, and the look on your face when you got it, it was such an accomplishment to see. Yo, this is high level jiu-jitsu. How long did it take you? What, let's even twist this around. What belt did you say that your confidence level started to transition into, like, what, I can actually do this and I can actually hang with the best of the best?
I think for me it was brown belt. I think um like as a I got my blue like reasonably quick, and then like blue and purple I like competed like damn near every fucking weekend, and it was like very mixed results, like sometimes winning, sometimes losing, sometimes whatever. Like I didn't really overthink it. Like I was just thinking like, like this is just, it's just another notch in the belt, just keep getting better. And then brown belt was when I feel like I can't remember shit off the top of my head. I got all this shit written down, but like as far as like my brown belt record, it's the best one of my color belts for sure. I definitely had like I feel like I only lost like maybe like 5 times or something like that, and I had like I don't even know, dude. But I did really well there, and I was able to win some pro shows. Like I won that finishers event, and then I like medaled at Nogi Worlds. Like I got bronze 2018, and then I got gold in 2019. So like
Mm.
those, they just like showed me like, you don't get that shit by accident. I was like, damn, you know must be doing something right. So I just keep it going.
I had on episode, I believe it's number 5, I had Mr. Mike John
Like
on the
John.
podcast. And, I asked him a question because I felt the wrath of his guillotine. And I was like, hey, Mike, like, how did you get this guillotine? And he was like, man, listen, I went through these amount of people and I took the guillotine from everybody. But the guillotine that I use right now, the grip that I use, Alan passed it along, which is the pretzel
Oh
grip.
shit, that's sick.
Okay.
I
So
didn't know that. That's tight.
he says this, and I was like, the pretzel grip. And then we're literally on the podcast, we're going through the pretzel grip. So I started teaching 6 a.m. class. So
Yeah.
the very next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna work on the pretzel grip. I finished almost every single guillotine that I
Let's
have
go.
thrown up, except for one, and he was a black belt, so he knows how to defend and he knows how to. But man, what a difference that grip has
Yeah.
made. So I have to say thank you for telling Mike John, and thank you for freaking showing. Because listen, that grip really changed the game for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just I've never seen it. I just never seen it. I was doing the Ben Eddy OK grip.
This thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing the OK grip and it was working pretty good, but the gi, the gi messed
Yeah.
with my hands. I can't grip that well. But the
Mm.
pretzel,
Yeah.
good
I don't know
sir.
why too people that train in the gi like they don't I don't know, not to bash on them, but I feel like they don't defend guillotines as well as people that like train exclusively no gi. It's like they don't see the guillotine that often, so I
They
feel like
don't.
that
They
that's
don't
like
because
very
they
available.
rather go for the lapel. They rather go for the lapel because a lapel choke is going to be one, a stronger grip. You have more grip on your more grip on the lapel, and they rather do a loop choke, or they rather try to get that cross collar. You really don't actually like, because to be honest with you, most of the gi guys, they don't wrestle. So most of the guillotines we hit in no gi, it's all from a double leg takedown. You get that
Yeah,
grip, and then it's a wrap.
yeah,
And in gi, you really rarely, you'll see it, but
yeah,
you rarely see it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, that's
all
a
right.
that grip. That's a lineage thing. That's like passed down for me from like my instructor Big Red. He does it. His instructor Danny. He does it. So it's like a lineage. It's just passed down. You know.
Wait, you did something a little. So when I get the pretzel, I grab the pretzel. So let's just say their head is this direction, right? So I have the guillotine, I have the pretzel. What did you do at that very end?
So it's it's actually usually the other way. So it's like the
Oh.
watch is usually the choking arm here. So like
Oh, so
this would be
see,
my
I've been
choking arm.
dude.
And then I mean like the big thing is you want the wrist high. So it's good to get the elbow low. To get the elbow low so you can bring that wrist higher,
Oh,
you know.
I'm having a good time on Monday morning. Monday morning, we're going right back to that pretzel
Right
grip.
to it.
So, Alan, so this podcast is mainly on two things in jiu-jitsu, and that is the highs and the lows. Okay. Of course, I want to start off with the good news, which is the highs of your jiu-jitsu career. So, and this could be any facet of jiu-jitsu. It doesn't have to be competition. It can be teaching. It could be anything. But for you personally, in your journey, you've been in the game for over 15 years, right?
Not even actually. I'm
Not
coming
e-
up on 9. Coming
9?
up on 9. Yeah, I started in
Oh,
2014.
oh shit. Okay.
So
So
still a while, but not quite that much. You know.
still awesome. I'm 11. And I'm still not that good. Anyway, so what is your highs in jiu-jitsu?
Um, Definitely EBI. That was the that's got to be the highest high I've ever felt for sure. Nogi Worlds was cool, but I feel like I was almost like it almost didn't even feel real. And then EBI was that's what I would say is like the my highest, especially like competition wise, like just because that was one of like when I first started training was like when EBI was like fucking huge, you know, it was massive, and then it went away, and I didn't even know if it was ever gonna come back, and then it came back, and it was my weight class, and I was like, I gotta get on there, and I don't even know if it'll happen again, you know, so it's like it's just super cool that that was able to happen. It's still kind of crazy to me that happened, you know. And I was lucky too because I had a lot of my friends like came out too. It was in Cancun, Mexico, and so like it was kind of crazy that like I had like 10 heads that were like willing to buy flights and book hotels to just come and like watch
Oh,
me
that's
compete
sick.
in Mexico.
But the
So
pressure, but if you really think about it, the pressure of knowing that these people are spending a thousand, 1,500 bucks to come see you compete. Like, how the hell do you stomach that shit? Me, my wife, or my kids. Oh, you want us to go see you compete? No, 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 no. I don't want you to even spend $10 to watch me lose. Let alone, you know what I'm saying? Like, no,
yeah,
don't even do this to me. Like, how,
yeah.
like, how do you stop? Like, does that even cross your mind, or you're just so zoned in? It's like it is what it is.
I mean the way that I kind of dealt with it in my head is like it's like you can take the route of like, oh man, like I better perform, but it's for me it's more like, damn, that they must believe in me so much that they think I'm gonna do good, they believe I'm gonna win, like they're willing to spend this money to because they're seeing me in the gym every day, and just like week in week out, day to day, they're helping me train. I'm getting Shark Tank fucking going through the ringer, doing EBIOT, getting frustrated, getting tapped, getting just like, just going through the motions, and they see it. And so, yeah, to me, it just felt like, damn, like they must believe in me so much that they're willing to like come here and see this happen. And I also think too, just like when it comes to athletics, like when there's pressure put on you, I think it's like that's like it's a privilege to have pressure. So you could let it like crumble you and make you fall, but it's also like when you have pressure, it's because there's like expectation, and there's only that expectation because you have like the skill to have those expectations. So it's a good thing. So I just try to channel it in a positive way, and I think about it like that.
That's it. And you know what? And it's crazy being doing jujitsu so long. I never even thought of it like that because I guess in my head, since I don't have that killer switch, it's like I don't want people to see me to lose. But then again, it's like, but if they want to see you, they want to support you, they want to be behind. They got your back.
Yeah, they don't
Okay.
they don't you could I know too, like I could have, I mean, thank God it didn't happen, but I could have gotten like ran through in the first round. And I know that they would, like, we're in Mexico, they'd go out and like have tequila shots with me and just like help me feel better. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're doing good is like definitely a positive, but I know that they got my back, whatever the result too. So you know,
All right. You know what? After this conversation, I'm gonna hit up Leo Code. I think I'm gonna take that super fight on the 2nd of September. I think I'm gonna not pussy out. And I think because they want me to do it, but at the time I was 260 at the time. So I'm 5'7", dog. I should be 175. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going against Captain America's. They're 6'2", traps the size
fuck.
of my bicep, you know what I mean? And then I'm
Yeah,
literally and I do good. I do pretty decent, but it never goes according to plan. But
yeah,
now I'm 230. So I just feel like I drop the weight. If I get a nice purple, and I'm an idiot and I always go a belt higher. I always go against brown belts and black belts when maybe I should just be, let me work the course and just take a purple belt, see how you fare versus a high level purple belt, and then you can think about the brown and the black, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
get into your own. But walk me through that bracket at EBI. So did you do the qualifiers for the EBI spot?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to do the qualifier, did the Tempe Q, and yeah. So I guess kind of it ended up being like 7 matches total for that whole process. Because the
Shit.
Tempe Q was like 3 weeks before too, so it wasn't like it was kind of like that happened, and then it was like cool, we won that. Now it's just like the main thing. Um, yeah, the qualifier was cool too. It was a nice like mental hurdle too, because it was my fourth time doing it, and I had always like never done the way that I felt like I should have. And so I was like just taking it like super seriously, and very much thinking too, like, this is just gonna get me to the show. Um, I'm trying to remember what the bracket was. So I went against one of like Boogie's brown belts first at the Tempe Q, and I ended up getting a guillotine pretzel grip.
Pretzel grid.
um, second match was against our boy Mike John.
Mike
So
John. I love you, Mike.
I love Mike too, man. We've gone against each other fucking a shitload of times. We're just we help each other out. Um, yeah, second match was against Mike John. I ended up getting a heel hook, and then the finals was against the homie Chase Hanna. Um, and yeah, I was able to make it to EBI, and then EBI was sick. I'm trying to the bracket.
It was sick. It was sick. You know what? Let me see if I pull it up real quick. Hold on.
um, I think I remember the first match I went against Danny Stolfi. You know,
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah, super nice guy, really really cool dude, and really good like dangerous guard. Um, but yeah, I remember he was playing guard, and I felt like he was trying to leg lock me off of it, and I kind of had it in my mind like I think I got better leg locks than this guy, so I was kind of trying to like not let him entangle me, and then I was like, let me just let him entangle me in the legs, and then I ended up catching him with like a counter heel hook from there, and And it was pretty quick, which is nice in a tournament. Like, you want
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. You
save
want to
your
be as
energy.
fresh as possible. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And then the next match was against John Combs.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah. That was the one. Now when you went again, now I like this was a little while ago, but I remember when and I actually took pictures of you doing. You actually reposted it. Like I took pictures of you on stage or whatever, and then I was like, oh, the next round, who we got? And it was John Combs, and I was like, ooh, this
yeah,
is gonna be a banger. So
yeah,
walk
beast.
me through the John Combs match.
Yeah, man. So, it was actually a rematch because I had gone against him like a few months before at the East Coast Trials, and I was able to win that match like kind of quickly. So it wasn't like too much of a match. Like I just kind of got a quick submission, and so I knew he wanted to like fuck me up.
Revenge, baby, revenge.
I had that feeling. But you know what I mean? I was like, I wasn't there to just win one match either. So I was like, all right, it's gonna be a sick one. And he put it on me too. Like I remember him being just feeling like super fucking strong, just like the way that he was collar tying me. And he was actually able to like pass my guard, and he mounted me like a little bit in that match. And but stay calm. I was able to recover, and then I ended up catching him into my closed guard. And in the closed guard, he like I felt like his elbows were a little too close together, and then I heard Eddie Bravo like yell out to go for a dead orchard, and so I whipped my legs up and caught the dead orchard like right away, locked it up, and there's just like a feeling when you like secure that dead orchard where you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is
I
like
got this. Yeah, I
this is
got
done
it.
deal. And yeah, I was able to get a sick like rubber guard finish at EBI, and that was pretty tight, man. John's the man, super nice guy too, but and dangerous competitor, so that was a solid win. And then the semis, I went against Pablo Lavaselli, he's this Argentinian dude that I think he's won some stuff like since then. He won like Brazilian nationals, and he's like at AOJ, and I think now people might know him a little more, but I feel like people didn't really know about him then. I knew about him, but he tapped
He
out
was the
Nate Orchard
sleeper.
in the first round,
Yeah, he was
and
the
that's where I was
sleeper.
like, oh shit, this guy's for real. And yeah, back and forth match. Actually, it kind of pisses me off because in that match he ended up taking my back, and we had to go to OT, and I would have liked to have not had OT in that run, but got a rear naked choke like pretty quickly in the OT against him. And then the finals was against big dog Oliver Taza.
Oliver Taza.
Oliver Taza. And yeah, that was a sick one because Taza actually had heel hooked me like a few months before that. And so I definitely wanted that match again, and I had this feeling like he probably thought like he could just run through me again, and I was like thinking like, like just like this is, I was like very much thinking like, bro, like I don't know if EBI is ever coming back. Like this is like
It's now
it's
or
like that
never.
that fucking
It's
Eminem song where it's like one shot, one opportunity. And and yeah, crazy back and forth match. Match was like a little wild. I remember him like he was doing a little bit of passing. I remember he like swept me. I think I got some close back takes. It was like back and forth, and then we went to the OT, and the OT was pretty fucking wild too. If you like look back on it, it was like probably one of the craziest OTs I think of like EBI history. I don't know if it gets talked about much, but it was like there was like one point where I'm like defending Spiderweb, and then I catch him in a
triangle.
triangle and shit.
Yeah, that triangle. That's
That shit was
right. And
crazy.
and that was the first time. That was actually the first time that it was snagged on EBI. Because
Yeah.
I used to see it on the qualifiers. I think one or two people have tried it. Nothing ever came out of it. But you snagged it. I thought you had it. It was so
Yeah.
close.
I mean, I think like technically in the rules, if you're on defense and you somehow tap them, it just counts as an escape.
As an escape.
So I was just thinking like, I wasn't too greedy with it. I was like thinking like, like it'd be cool to tap him, but I was thinking more like this is just to annoy him enough that he lets go of my arm and then boom, I'm out. You know, um, probably would have been a much sicker highlight though if I would have like committed to that finish. But is what it is. Um, and yeah, I ended up going the full ride time, and I'm pretty sure in the first round of it, I escaped the back like right away, so that put me like
Yeah,
way
you were
ahead
way
like
ahead.
right
Yeah.
off the bat. And so yeah, it would have been nice to win by submission. I'm like, would have been clean, but I'll take it. I've won by fastest ride time and got a win over someone that had to win over me. So
I'm just
it was
saying you
sick and
got the
I won
belt,
EBI.
so you got the belt.
Hey,
So I
I got the
don't
belt.
listen. A dub is a dub. That's all I
That
gotta
is
say. The dub is a
It's
dub,
true.
dude. This is so sick. Like going down memory lane and all right. So uh, so that was the highs of jujitsu. What
Yeah,
is your low of jujitsu?
my lows. Shit. It's been a few. I mean, I'm kind of feeling it like right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like the lows, just because I've been dealing with like some injuries that I've just been kind of like ignoring and like pushing past for like last couple of years, and right now I'm like kind of taking a more chill approach and having to say no to like a bunch of opportunities. So I'd be lying if I said right now I wasn't feeling the lows. But yeah, it'd be like that. I mean, Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds earlier this year too kind of like stung. Got to the finals and lost in the finals to Andrew Tackett. Hats off to him. He's
hands out.
he's a he's a
World
beast.
class, world class, world class.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, man, just as obviously, when you compete at this level, everyone's a bad loser. You hate fucking losing, but it'd be like that. So yeah, probably that was a low. Shit, I think back to like as a brown belt, there was just like I was telling you how I didn't lose very much, but those losses that I did lose like fucking
You
you know
took them
kind of
hard.
kind of ate away at me. Yeah, I hated them. Like I lost in the 10 PQ in like the middle of 2019, but in the moment it felt like such a big low. But I remember like I trained like fucking crazy after that. Like I was so pissed off, and I just like trained like a madman. I apologize to all of my training partners if I took my aggression out on you. But I ended up doing like I feel like I didn't lose like the rest of the year. I just like I won. I won like a defended the fight to win belt when I was like the brown belt champ. I like won finishers. I won Nogi Worlds off of that. So that like felt like a big low, but I think ultimately ended up being a high. But yeah, I'd say those are like the lows for me. It was like that those losses and just kind of right now kind of dealing with injuries where I gotta take a step back and just yeah, kind of think about the long game. Maybe pause in the short term, but just in the long game, hopefully there's a lot left in the tank.
We don't really in the jiu-jitsu community, we really don't. I mean, you do got a few guys posting about mental health, but it's usually mental health in a different aspect, but never the mental health of a competitor. When you put your life, yeah, like you've been doing this so long as a competitor, like this is your life. And just like basketball players and football players or whatever, you get to a championship match or a championship game, and you take an L, and it just you don't know if you're ever gonna get there again. So sometimes it's hard, and it really comes down. An example, um, Keith, right? Shout outs to Keith Kokorian. Uh, so I was at the East Coast trial when he made it to the finals. Um, and he had a great showing. He lost in the finals, and I remember I drove him and someone else to, I guess, his hotel. It might have been Coach West. I think it was Coach West. I'm 50-50. I think it was Coach West was there too, which is crazy. But
I got a quick
I
question.
yes, sir.
Was this 2022 East Coast trials or like 2018?
I think it's 2018.
Okay, yeah, I was there too. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was the second time we've met. That was the
Blonde Keith.
second time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the second time we met. And I drove him to, we got something to eat, and then I drove him to his hotel, and I was like, yo, Keith, like, you did amazing, bro. And he was taking it so hard, and I failed to realize that I'm older. I'm about to be 37, so I'm older in the game. And this kid probably at the time was maybe 20, 21, 22, maybe, young
He
20s.
was probably like 20. Yeah.
He was probably like 20 at the time. And if you really think back, the year before is I think he had that 78 and 0 or
I think it
70.
was that year because it was like in like November. So like that whole
Yeah,
year, yeah, had like crazy run.
he had a crazy run, so he was like on top, and you're on top, and then that one right at the end, right when you're about to get, and I saw how hard he took it. And I'm not the one to give advice. He's a higher belt than I, but as my age experience, I was like, listen, you're so young that you're gonna get here three more fucking times, brother. I don't want you to fucking trip at all. You're gonna get here again. You did great, and not for nothing. Who fucking has a silver medal in trials? Not many motherfuckers. So be proud of that shit. And we don't really discuss the mental health of taking losses because, especially as a competitor, you have to learn how to win, and you learn how to lose also. But we lose in the training room, which is we're supposed to lose at, not in competition. So, it's really good to just bring that to light on how
Yeah.
difficult it is, especially when you think you're on top of your game and then just shit happens. And like, you know what? Thor. When Thor was on Who's Number One and he gets the submission but hurts himself in the process. Like, devastating, absolutely devastating. I can't imagine what that man went through. Getting a finish and actually messing up his ACL or MCL, whatever it was, just putting myself in that position is like, god damn, like
Yeah.
absolute insanity.
No, it's tough, man. It's tough, and it's like different people need like different things in those moments, and depending on the context, like it changes. And yeah, man, and it's tough. It's tough to balance too. Like I think like as you go through it, like it's everyone experiences L's every now and then, and so you just kind of gotta like roll with the punches. And there's like I don't know. It's like it's tough. It's tough to deal with, and it's like like I know that I want to just come back and train like fucking crazy like a madman, and I'm already training like a madman before anyways, but I just want to come back and go even harder. And sometimes that might be the worst thing you could do because it just might end up hurting you even more and being bad for you. And
Or hurting
and like
someone else.
or hurting someone else. I mean, yeah. I mean, in my
I know
experience,
you're
I feel
good.
like
Yeah,
even when I
yeah.
go hard on people, I'm like reasonably gentle. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm more concerned with hurting myself. Like I know I definitely go as far as my own personal experience with it. And it's tough when you lose and you get hurt and you can't come back and fucking train like crazy, and then it's just sucks even more. I mean, I know for me, like I get through I guess the mental health side of it by training and like just exhausting myself through training where I don't have time to think about like anything negative because I just got to worry about sleeping and resting and just recovering for the next day. And so when you can't, you know, and that's what I mean too. Like right now, kind of like feeling like right now is kind of feeling like the lows for me where I can't train the way I want to train, and it's just frustrating, you know.
Is it? I don't want to get personal, but is it the knee? Is it the shoulder? Is it the elbow? Like what?
For me,
What
it's the
injury?
knee.
It's the
It's
knee.
the
Okay.
knee. Yeah, yeah. It's been like a thing that I just been ignoring for like I just been kind of pushing through it for like years, uh and so yeah, now I'm like trying to just like
You're
actually
paying
let
for
it
it.
heal.
Yeah, you're paying for it. You're paying for it now. Was
Yeah.
it training room or was it competition? Where was the
Training,
initial tweak?
training.
Okay.
So I think in my case it was like it's like just the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. It wasn't like a necessarily like one big impact thing. I mean, there was one day where like you know it fucking
Yeah.
and then like I couldn't bend my leg for like a couple weeks, and I'm like hobbling around, and yeah, man, it sucked, dude. Like my I don't know, my doctors were real shitty about it too. Like they were like, oh, it's just an MCL sprain. You'll be back in a couple weeks, and I was like, oh, sick, man. Like
Bullshit.
like that's like what I want to hear. I'm like, oh, cool, a couple weeks, I'll be good to go, and then it's like 2 weeks later, and I still can't bend my leg, and I'm like, all right. And then the follow up appointment, they're still being weird about it, and I'm like, oh, damn. So, but It's the whole thing. I don't got to get into it too crazy, but
Yeah, 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 definitely.
yeah.
No, definitely. I don't know, no, nothing like a lot of podcasts they go like super personal and they ask crazy personal questions. Like I want my vibe to be super chill. I just wanted to see if it was just the knee, because especially in the 10th planet, like when we train 10th planet, like there's a lot of knee flexibility, especially like when it comes to rubber guard.
Yeah.
As of course everybody knows it's all angle. Well, not everybody knows, but 10th planet guys knows the right angle. You don't get that pressure, but sometimes, especially in competition, you're like, fuck it. I don't care. This is
Yeah.
gonna be the one time that I gotta go 100%, and I don't care if I tweak my shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do it.
No, I learned that lesson actually the hard way. Like back like this is like 5+ years ago. Like I didn't warm up at all for like a competition one time, and then I'm like trying to crossface someone into like forcing an omoplata, and then and like this wasn't even a bad pop, but like my knee popped where like I had to like take it easy for like a few days. But then that was just like okay, I gotta actually warm up
Yeah,
if
gotta be
I'm gonna
smarter
compete.
about it. No, definitely. I mean, at my
So,
age, how old are you now, Alan?
27.
Yeah, oh, so you have so much jiu-jitsu left in you. So, I'm on the tail end, like if I look like Cyborg, I might have another 5 years, but definitely not it. But you know what? I have been killing it lately. I'm on a crazy training regimen and crazy diet. So like
That's
I'm
good.
dropping weight like super crazy. So I'm trying to get myself to a position where I can do more competitions and actually have a shot, Um,
Yeah.
so that's why I might take the September 2nd now, because now I'm like, I feel kind of like pumped now. I'm like, yo, it's the best
Oh,
shape of my life. I have not been 220, I was 227 the other day. I haven't been 227 since I was 19 years old.
let's go, dude. That's sick, dude. Proud of you, dude. That shit ain't easy.
It ain't, listen, I didn't understand. It's not easy, but I didn't know how easy it really was.
Yeah, yeah. It's the routine. It's the routine.
I'm Puerto Rican, and living with my parents and people,
Oh.
everything is arroz con bichuela and pollo and pork, and you're Latino, so you already know, you know what I'm saying? Like
If my mom was cooking for me every day, it'd be
carbs,
dangerous.
carbs, 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 everything. We do three carbs and a meat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
Alan,
rice and bean tacos.
oh yeah, all day, all day. What? Especially
Yeah.
on the bad days, sure, rice and beans on crackers, dog.
Oof. Let's go.
Yeah, hood shit, hood shit. So Alan, I have one question that this podcast I want it to be known for, and so far I've gotten really good responses with this question. And the question is, have you ever called somebody out? It could be a training partner, coach, or another grappler. Have you ever called anybody out and took an L?
Not that I can think of, to be honest with you.
See,
Um,
you're fucking nice, bro.
that's the thing. I'm too nice. I don't like. I'm not
So
much
I'll
of a
give you
shit
an example.
talker.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you my example and then see if maybe it corresponds and be like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I've done that before."
I
So
mean,
there was a purple belt at a gym. I was training at Damian Maya's gym in Miami,
okay.
and I was a blue belt. And on the open mats, whoever's the first there controls the music until
Oh,
a higher belt comes. So it was the first time that I got there, the first one there. So I get the music. So it's metal time, baby. So I'm putting heavy metal and I'm putting my band because I wasn't actually doing music at the time. So I'm right. So I put that shit on and we're freaking rolling. And then here comes the senior belt through the door, which means now he takes over the radio. So exactly what he said. Yo, let's change this shit. It's time to put this on. And I was like, nah, you know what? And I don't know what I was joking, but I was like, you know what? No, fuck that shit. I want to hear metal. I was the first one here. Roll me for it, bitch.
oh shit.
Joking though, smiling and joking. I knew better. I knew better. I knew
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
fuck me up, but
yeah.
I was like, roll me for it. He goes, no, no, come on. You know what? Keep the music. I said, no, you're gonna roll me for the radio. For what? ¿Pa qué eso? He freaking crucified me, and he did put me in a crucifix, and like 10 seconds had my back, and then it was like 2 minutes in. He gets the dub. He gets the
Oh,
radio.
he gets the
But that was
honors.
mine. That was mine. Have you had a situation, something of that, training partner or anything?
I mean, like the thing, like I don't do it too much. My like the thing is like very early on, I like remember and nothing, obviously it's all friendly, but like I
Yeah,
remember like
100% friendly.
training at Denny's in like the city, and like there was one guy who would always talk when you'd roll, and he'd always be saying stuff. I don't know why. Just that's just how he was, and I always remember like Denny telling him like, "Hey, don't tell me, show me." And so I guess like just me like being like 18 or 19, I just like took that to heart, and I just not much of a talker. But like right now, we've gotten some wrestlers that started training with us at 10th Planet San Mateo, and they're like some San Francisco State wrestlers. And there's this one kid who's I say kid, he's like 24, but he's good, and he's like about my size, and every time we roll, like I'm always like tapping him every roll, but he's always like, I'm coming for you, like I'm gonna fuck you up one day, like that's like my goal in training is like, and he's a good wrestler, and he's savvy, and he like takes me down sometimes and stuff, and he'll put me in some bad spots, but like I always end up getting out, using it against them, and catching him. So I mean, I don't
Do
really
you
do too
whisper?
many
Do you
calling out
whisper?
myself.
Do you whisper sweet nothings in his ear?
I don't. I'm too nice, dude. You
Yes.
know what? Sometimes I might I like I might sometimes be kind of friendly with like Big Red, because again, it's like one of those like he's like way bigger than me and will like fuck me up, and so I can like
I need to take a time out. Listen, Big Red, like I was always a big boy. So when I
yeah,
started 10th Planet, there weren't many people to look up to that were big guys. And
yeah,
Big Red was that guy. He was
yeah,
that motherfucker. So I can know how's training with him been since you started. So you've been with him since white belt.
yeah. Day one, I was with him since he was a brown belt when I started training with him. It's crazy.
What is
Um,
what is his best quality in a coach as a coach?
Probably just I'd say he's thoughtful. He cares. And he wants to make sure that as a coach, he's definitely very good about not just like being helpful like on the mats. Obviously he's like high level jujitsu. Has the technique to help you on the mats, but he's also there for you off the mats too. And he's there to help you out when you need it, and yeah, he's someone I can count on. He's like someone that like if I need something, I know I can call him, and yeah. So I say that's his thoughtfulness on and off the mats.
Oh, that's super sick. That's super sick.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to take too much of your time because I know you're going to have training. I'm actually going to probably do gi tonight. My
Oh,
gym only
yeah.
does two-day gis during the week. So, I got to get some
As
cardio.
long as you guillotine him.
Yeah, I'm about to start working on it. I'm going to work on it. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Top three submissions, go.
Rear naked choke, arm and guillotine, heel hook.
Boss. Do you have any sponsors or any charities that you would like to shout out before we go?
I mean, sponsors, Perry Athletics. They got sick gear. I really genuinely believe they got the best shorts in the game. So if you wanna go get some, use code Allen20, save a little money. The homie Santa Cruz Medicinals. He's always letting people know all the healthy shit they need to know about on the socials, and he's got quality shit for you. Protein and just like a bunch of good stuff for you. And then yeah, I mean charities. Uh, I mean, no,
Okay. The Alan
go help
Sanchez
out
Fund.
Hawaii. They need it right now.
Yeah. Before I go, I just want to throw just two of my little sponsor. One is a sponsor, one is a shout out. Shout out to Kojito Jiu Jitsu for allowing me to train in their gym and teach at their gym. I appreciate all you guys there. And shout out to Pressure Pass Pressure Washing. Shout outs to them in the Orlando area. If you need pressure washing in the Orlando area, call 407-773-1545 to get the introductory rate if you mention the Grindin Jiu Jitsu podcast. Alan, I appreciate you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time, and I hope you had fun. I hope we can do a part two in the future, and I'll start working on all the posters and stuff, and hopefully this will be up in the next few days, man. Thank you so much.
Sweet, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate you. Oh, that's
Ooh,
episode 7 of the Grinding Jiu Jitsu podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, share, help out the podcast. Cash App, C-Tech. We'll follow Alan on Instagram, Alan Sanchez 10P, correct?
yes, sir.
10P. I'll put it on the post also on in the bio. Thank you everybody for listening. Have a good night and keep training. Os. And